I'm in love with you, girl. I'm so in love with you. I don't know how to express myself, but I'm going to give it a try. Yeah. Good morning, guys. My name is Prince Ngu, also known as Alexander, or Ozilam. Today I wanted to talk about something I was thinking about regarding sort of the dynamics in the world right now, and an overarching perspective that puts everything together. So I feel like we're in a sort of a period of time in our history, a time where a lot of things are going to change, and they're going to change very, very fast. I'm going to speak from a technological perspective. I'm also going to speak from a philosophical perspective. I'm going to give my opinions about where I think things are heading, and I'm going to give my opinions about what I think about what's currently going on right now. And that's where I'm going to start. Because whenever I know there's a good conversation that's going to happen, you know, I got to capture it. So when I die, all my shit will be, eternal.
Oh yeah, you got documented, bro.
Exactly, bro. If bro, even when I was a kid, I was like, if I die today, like, I would technically be irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Like, if I just died today, right?
Yeah.
And I was like 12 years old thinking like that. So I've always felt like I needed to do shit from a young age to, like, leave something, It never made sense to me.
You know humans are inherently nomadic. That's why we like traveling so much. I can't stay stuck in the same spot for too long, man.
Yeah, bro. Bro, I just want that even after I die, right? Someone should be able to just like stumble on my like music one day or something and be like, oh wow, this is good shit. But this would be my existence past my physical reality. Right? And I feel like
that's what a lot of these classical music composers and shit didn't get famous till after they died.
Yeah.
Because they're like, holy shit, this guy's a genius. They didn't realize until after.
I'm talking to Dan right now. It's my friend that I went to college with. And we're just talking about, what are we talking about, Dan?
Growing the fuck up.
Pretty much. Oh yeah. So Dan said he just went back home and he felt like people back home haven't evolved. So I guess you left home for work, right? A couple years ago.
I mean, yeah, man. There's like a whole fucking bunch of shit to deal with up here. So like, people don't escape it. They don't want to.
They don't want to. That's like
and all they see is a very small slice of the world. Like, I could be doing the same shit, but I could keep it moving,
It's called comfort, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got your whole like social circle of fellow druggies. You're just not gonna leave, and I understand.
And where is this? This is in Connecticut? What part of Connecticut?
Fucking New Haven, bro.
New Haven? Okay. Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Crazy, bro.
I mean, it's pretty normal in America, man. I'm just saying.
So from a so just like a little slight tangent, from a mathematical perspective, right? Comfort can be represented as low uncertainty.
Dude, that's what it is, man.
It's a low uncertainty.
A range of experiences because that's what they're comfortable with. So that's putting constraints on yourself, essentially.
Exactly. That's a great point. So Dan just said that comfort can be defined as putting constraint on uncertainty. which is essentially, and you can define uncertainty as, for example, you taking the chance to leave your hometown,
fucking vast world,
leave your hometown to go to a different state to go work, right? That's a lot of uncertainty in that. But the lesson in that is that uncertainty creates opportunity for growth. That's a key point that I feel like is very fundamental for people to really understand. Like, take it, like, even tackling the world, bro. If you think about it, like, because the world is just a bunch of uncertainty, right?
Oh yeah.
Because if I ask you right now, like, let's say we could change one thing about your past. Let's say we can change one fundamental aspect about your past that was probably fundamental in your development as a human being, or as a valuable person in the world market, right? So let's say that we switch the school you went to, for example. Let's say we switch a variable, for example, that, let's say, your school that you went to. How do you think that could have affected the way your life turned out, from a hypothetical perspective?
Like external or internal?
External. Like, I gave you the example of the school. I said, let's say we just change the school you went to.
I don't think it will change shit because school doesn't help anymore.
Okay.
It's all self-taught.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But now hear me out. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get to is, I'm trying to get to the fact that the universe, the world, the earth is full of uncertainty, right? And you can always take multiple routes and get to the same goal, which is what you're saying. You're saying that it doesn't matter what school you went to, that you feel like internally it doesn't change who you are, right?
It doesn't.
But there are many possibilities of routes that you could have taken, though. So even though they might not have changed who you were or who you are as a person internally, they could have changed the external outcomes of your reality today. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so
the experience will be different.
Okay, so here's why I was saying that. Here's why I was going through that little thought experiment, because I really need people to understand that, bro, the universe is just uncertainty, right? And uncertainty is actually good. Uncertainty is energy, if you think about it, right? Uncertainty is like the powering force behind all greatness, because if you're certain about it, then the energy is low. So what do I mean by that? So to elaborate, I'm going to give you an example. So imagine you're cooking rice in a pot, and imagine that you put rice in there, you put it on a stove, and imagine you put a lot of water. Imagine the water gets really hot, and then the steam builds up in a pot, and it gets to a point where the water starts to bubble, and then the steam starts to make the cover of the pot bounce around. I'm sure you guys have experienced that before, where you be cooking something and you hear the pot start bouncing, and you start wondering what's making the pot move. All right, so that's uncertainty. So what's going on is that it got so hot that the steam created enough force that it's essentially able to lift the cover of the pot. So, but that means that the more uncertainty we experience with the steam, because steam is just water in a different medium, right? So water is stable. You can put water in a cup, drink it, it's stable, right? And then the moment you heat water up to a very high temperature, it becomes uncertain, it becomes unstable, and it becomes very energetic, right? So the reason why I'm giving you this example is because I think that that's how important uncertainty is. Uncertainty is engine for everything, essentially. So even in chemistry, there's this thing called Heisenberg uncertainty principle that talks about electrons and particles having high uncertainty, having high energy, meaning that the faster the particles move and the more unpredictable the particles are, then the more energy the particle has, right? So what does this have to do with humans and like everyday like life? So this has to do with the fact that humans are material. We live in a material universe. Everything that we experience is material. We're immersed in it. We are material. We're made from carbon, right? Just like everything else. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that humans, just like everything else, can be charged, because humans are like batteries. We are actually internally negatively charged and we're externally positively charged, and together we're neutral. So if you think about the fact that electrons, uncertainty means high energy, the same sort of logic can be applied to human existence. Higher uncertainty means higher potential, means higher energy. So if you can translate uncertainty, if you can translate uncertainty into reality, then you can achieve the impossible, because uncertainty is all possibilities, right? So the same way you can heat up the water and make it become steam and lift off the cover of the pot, you can use uncertainty, you can use the unknown, you can use that as a fuel to power reality. And that's a very important concept to understand, because it goes back to the idea that everything in the universe is made of two things, right? Material energy and immaterial energy. And these are very, very important things to understand. Material energy can only exist in the material sense, as in like humans, we're material, we're carbon, right? So we experience the material world. I can pick up this iPad because it's material. I can interact with material, right? But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there's an opposite side of material called immaterial. And in material and the material, there's a duality principle to it. Just the same way positive and negative exist, the same way that north and south exist, and the same way male and female exist. That's where this whole polarity idea comes from. It comes from an original scientific idea of spin. If you go back to chemistry and physics, where it shows that to calculate and sort of understand uncertainty, which is what everything is, we have to put uncertainty within a time frame to understand it, right? So this is probably going to be the most important lesson you're ever going to learn. But so how do you channel uncertainty? How do you use uncertainty? How do you find a way to get it to form reality? Because reality can be, that's what people don't understand, is that reality is just a bunch of uncertainty that's being looked at a very, very close perspective, right? So how do you wield uncertainty? To do that, all you have to do is maximize. You have to maximize the possibilities, as in you have to maximize the different experiences. So if you're able to put yourself in situations that are unknown to you or you're unfamiliar with, what that does is it actually creates new connections, not just with your brain, but with the universe itself. So what you're doing is you're almost building new roads of possibilities for yourself. So when you increase possibilities, what happens when you increase new routes or options of possibilities, what happens is your existence begins to look for ways to optimize and find the best route. So now you're not just stuck on one road out of 3 roads. Now you have 100 routes to pick from, and out of those 100 routes, there are many different variables about those routes that are different, and you can customize and get to the same goal, but you can get to the same goal at a higher level.